Enough is enough about people keeping quiet about mental illness. People must come out. People must speak out about their emotional problems. Hi, my name is Dr. Chukwudi Charles Elono. I'm a consultant psychiatrist. If you like, call me a behavioral physician. In my last video, I talked to you about the symptoms of depression. I remember I mentioned about 15 symptoms of depression. However, today I have come to tell you a story about a woman who I have encountered in the past. And the purpose of this story is to enlighten us that depression does not always come the way we expect it to come. In other words, depression may not come outrightly with symptoms of low mood, reduced energy, hopelessness, and all that. Depression can come in a very subtle way that sometimes we may be tempted to miss the symptoms of depression. Now, there's this woman whom I will just tag Mrs. A. Mrs. A, I saw her several years ago, let's say about 10 years ago. It happened that Mrs. A had attended several other hospitals where she was managed for different ailments, especially for malaria. And she also told me that she had been managed for typhoid. So basically, she told me that she had been having malaria and typhoid, which had refused to go. So I ran a test, which of course, it also showed that she had malaria, but of course, there was no typhoid from the blood test, stool analysis, stool culture we did, and all that. So I told this woman, well, we saw some traces of malaria parasites in your blood, but of course, we could not see any sign that she had a typhoid fever. But she insisted that she had what she called malaria and typhoid. This issue of malaria and typhoid is always very common among the populace, especially in Nigeria. However, the symptom that she complained about was more of having less energy. She didn't have strength. She wasn't eating, so she lost weight. And then she was also having problems or issues with her sleep. So because of these symptoms, she believed that she had malaria, which had refused to go. And severally in the past, malaria had been treated, typhoid had been treated. But on a second thought, I decided to go deeper to ask this woman certain questions. Because we in mental health will ask a lot of questions, ranging from even when we were small, when you were a teenager, adolescent. We ask questions surrounding your relationships, your marriage. We ask questions about virtually everything. So when I engaged this woman, I started asking her a lot of questions concerning her personal life. It took a lot of time for me to realize that this woman has symptoms of depression. So along issues of appetite and weight loss, along issues of not sleeping well and not eating enough, I also realized that this woman had low mood. And of course, there was also issues with her energy level. Now, I came up with the diagnosis of a major depression in this woman. So as at that time, I was a much younger doctor. So I asked the woman a lot of questions concerning her condition. Yes, that was when she told me that she had treated malaria and typhoid for several months before that time, even up to a year or so. So I took time to take a history from that woman. And at the end of the day, I was finally able to successfully diagnose the woman with major depression. So I started her on treatments, and lo and behold, after several weeks, or after about 2 weeks or more of treatment, she started getting well. She started improving in her appetite, and of course she started eating better and started regaining her weight. She also started having more and more energy. Her energy level started improving, and of course her sleep also improved. So the woman became happier and happier by the day, and she was able to regain herself. One thing that I failed to mention is that she told me that there was issues with relationship with her husband at that time, because at that time in her marriage, she spent up to about 2 years, if I remember correctly, 2 years without having some contacts with her husband. So she spent 2 years without having any form of intimate relationship with her husband at that time. And that was beginning to create a problem in her marriage. So after she started treatment, she started regaining herself. She started becoming happier and happier. She started gaining her strength. And of course, her appetite improved. And the interest in being with her husband started coming back. And everything finally became normal. Now, why did I tell the story? The reason why I have told this story is because I want to encourage people who feel that they have signs of depression. I want to encourage people who feel that they have been feeling sad for some time now. They've been having low energy. They've been having loss of interest. They've been having difficulties with their sleep. They've been having difficulties with their appetite, as well as also having difficulties with their day-to-day activities. These may be a sign that you may be having depression. So I encourage everybody who may think that he or she has depressive illness or depressive symptoms to please come out. I think enough is enough of people keeping silent about the way they feel. Enough is enough about people keeping quiet about mental illness. People must come out. People must speak out about their emotional problems. So this woman, even though she finally got the help she needed, initially she didn't know she had a mental health issue. She didn't know she had a psychological problem. But it was in the event of seeing her that it was unraveled that she had a mental problem. So I think that this story should be able to encourage any of you to speak up, to come out. Stop living in silence about your mental illness or about your psychological problems. You must come out and speak. There is help out there if you have any form of mental health challenges. So I hope this video helps. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channels for more videos. Thank you very much for listening.